Mama Obi standing in the kitchen, staring at raw ingredients, realizing for the first time that cooking every single day was not as easy as she had made it seem. But let me tell you something about pride. Pride is a stubborn thing. It doesn't die easily. And Mama Obi, she had enough pride to fill that entire apartment 3 times over. That first day without Amara's cooking, Mama Obi managed to boil some rice. Plain white rice. No stew, no sauce, nothing. Just rice and a little salt. She ate it alone in the kitchen, standing up, because she didn't want Chukudi to see that she was struggling. When Chukudi came home that evening, he asked, "Mama, did you cook?" "Of course I cooked. I have been cooking since before your wife was born. Do you think I cannot feed myself?" But her tone was defensive, sharp, and Chukudi noticed. "Where is Amara?" he asked, looking around. "How should I know? She's the one who decided to abandon her responsibilities. She will come back when she's ready to behave like a proper wife." Chukudi sighed and went to their bedroom. Amara was there, sitting on the bed, reading a book and eating takeout from a plastic container. "Amara," he said softly. She looked up. "Yes?" "How long are you going to keep this up?" She closed her book. "As long as it takes." "Takes for what?" "For your mother to understand that I deserve respect. I'm not her servant, Chukudi. I'm your wife, your partner. And if she can't see that, then I won't keep subjecting myself to her insults." Chukudi sat down beside her. "I know, you're right. But she's my mother. She's proud. She won't apologize easily. Then she can cook for herself." And that was that. Day 2 was harder for Mama Obi. She tried to make beans, but she forgot to soak them overnight, so they stayed hard even after hours of cooking. She ended up throwing the whole pot away and eating bread with tea. Day 3, she attempted jollof rice, but she added too much water and it became soggy. She ate it anyway, forcing each spoonful down while her stomach protested. By day 4, Mama Obi was exhausted. Her back ached from standing in the kitchen, her fingers hot from chopping, and worst of all, she was starting to miss Amara's cooking, the same cooking she had spent days insulting. But pride, remember, pride kept her mouth shut. That evening, something changed. Amara came home from work, went straight to the kitchen, and started cooking. The aroma of frying onions and tomatoes filled the apartment. Mama Obi, who was in her room, smelt it, and her stomach growled so loudly she was sure the neighbors heard it. She walked out to the living room and saw Amara moving around the kitchen with ease, humming softly to herself. Chukudi was sitting at the dining table, watching his wife with a small smile. "What are you cooking?" Chukudi asked. "Pepper soup and fried yam," Amara replied cheerfully. "I've been craving it all day." Mama Obi stood in the doorway, arms folded, watching. She wanted to say something. She wanted to walk in there and demand her own plate. But her pride wouldn't let her. When the food was ready, Amara served herself and Chukudi 2 generous plates. The pepper soup was rich and aromatic, the fried yam golden and crispy. Mama Obi watched as they sat down and began to eat. "This is so good, Amara," Chukudi said, his eyes closing in satisfaction. "I missed your cooking." Amara smiled. "Thank you, my love." Mama Obi's stomach growled again. She cleared her throat loudly. Neither of them looked at her. She cleared her throat again, louder this time. Chukudi glanced up. "Oh, Mama, good evening. Did you cook for yourself already?" I am not hungry," she lied, her eyes fixed on the steaming bowl of pepper soup. "Are you sure? There's bread in the cupboard if you need it." Bread? After watching them eat that beautiful, perfect pepper soup, the insult of it. Mama Obi turned and walked stiffly back to her room. But as she lay on her bed that night, her stomach wouldn't stop growling, and in her mind, all she could see was that pepper soup, the same pepper soup she had called battery acid just days ago. The next day, Amara did it again. She came home and made egusi soup with pounded yam. The smell was intoxicating. Mama Obi sat in her room, pretending to read a magazine, but really she was just listening to the sounds from the kitchen. The sizzling, the stirring, the laughter between Amara and Chukudi. When dinner was served, she came out, trying to act casual. Egusi soup, she said, her tone dripping with false disinterest. I remember when I used to make egusi soup. Mine was the best in the whole village. Amara didn't respond. She just scooped a generous portion of the soup onto pounded yam and handed it to Chukudi. He took a bite and moaned. Literally moaned. Amara, this is incredible. The seasoning is perfect. The consistency is just right. You outdid yourself. Mama Obi's eye twitched. I'm sure it's adequate, she said stiffly. But real egusi soup should have more bitterness from the leaves. This one looks too smooth. Amara finally looked at her. You're welcome to cook your own version, Mama. The words were polite, but the message was clear. If you can do better, prove it. Mama Obi's face burned. She turned and went back to her room. That night, she couldn't sleep. Her stomach was empty, yes, but it was more than that. She was starting to feel something unfamiliar, something uncomfortable. Regret. By day 6, Mama Obi's pride was starting to crack. She tried to cook again, this time okra soup, but she added too much okra and it became too slimy, just like she had accused Amara's of being. She stared at the pot in frustration, then covered it and shoved it to the back of the stove. That evening, Amara made fried rice with chicken. The apartment smelled like heaven. Mama Obi couldn't take it anymore. She waited until Amara and Chukudi were eating, then she casually walked past the dining table, pretending she was going to the kitchen for water. As she passed, she glanced at the plates. The rice was perfectly cooked, each grain separate and glistening. The chicken was golden brown and crispy. She poured herself a glass of water and stood by the sink, drinking it slowly, hoping they would offer her some. They didn't. Chukudi was too busy enjoying his food, and Amara, she was eating calmly, occasionally smiling at her husband. Mama Obi went back to her room, her throat tight. Later that night, when she was sure everyone was asleep, she crept into the kitchen like a thief in her own son's house. She opened the pot where Amara had left the remaining fried rice. It was still warm. Mama Obi looked over her shoulder, making sure no one was coming. Then, with shaking hands, she scooped a small portion onto a plate. She ate standing up, quickly, quietly, like someone committing a crime. And with every bite, she felt her pride crumbling. Because the rice was delicious. It was perfectly seasoned. The vegetables were fresh, the chicken tender. It was everything she had said it wasn't. When she finished, she washed the plate quickly and tiptoed back to her room. But Amara had heard her. From her bedroom, Amara lay next to Chukudi, her eyes open in the darkness, a small smile on her face. The sneaking continued for 3 more days. Every night, after Amara cooked and served Chukudi, Mama Obi would wait. She would sit in her room, pretending she didn't care, pretending she was fine with her dry bread and tea. But when the house went quiet, she would creep into the kitchen and eat whatever was left. She ate the jollof rice she had called not red enough. She ate the beans she had called too hard. She even ate the okra soup she had called too slimy. And every single time, she had to admit the truth to herself. Amara could cook. She could cook very well. On the 9th day, Mama Obi made a mistake. She got greedy. It was a Saturday afternoon. Amara had made a big pot of offensala, white soup, with catfish and pounded yam. The aroma had been torturing Mama Obi all afternoon. She waited until she heard Amara go into the bedroom for her afternoon nap. Chukudi had gone out to see a friend. The house was empty. Mama Obi rushed to the kitchen, her heart pounding. She opened the pot, and the steam hit her face, carrying that rich, peppery smell. She grabbed a plate, served herself a huge portion, and sat down at the dining table. She didn't even bother hiding this time. She was too hungry, too tired of pretending. She was halfway through her meal, her eyes closed in satisfaction, when she heard a voice. "So, you do like my cooking?" Mama Obi's eyes flew open. Amara was standing in the doorway, arms folded, one eyebrow raised. Mama Obi froze, the spoon halfway to her mouth. I was just checking if it was safe for my son to eat. Amara walked closer. For 9 days, Mama. You've been checking my food every night for 9 days? Mama Obi's face flushed. I don't know what you're talking about. The plates that mysteriously appear in the sink every morning, the food that keeps disappearing from the pots, the way you tiptoe into the kitchen at midnight like a mouse. Mama Obi set the spoon down, her hands trembling. She wanted to defend herself, to argue, to maintain her pride. But she was so tired of pretending, tired of cooking badly, tired of being hungry, tired of being wrong. It's good, she said quietly, not looking at Amara. Your food, it's good. Amara sat down at the table across from her. Then why did you spend all that time insulting it? Mama Obi was silent for a long moment. Then slowly, the truth came out. Because I was afraid. Amara blinked. Afraid of what? Mama Obi's voice cracked. When I arrived here and tasted your food, I saw how much my son loved it, how happy he was, and I thought, if she can cook for him, if she can take care of him, then what am I here for? What is my place in his life? Amara's expression softened. Mama Obi continued, her words tumbling out. In the village, I was the one who cooked for him. I was the one who made sure he ate well. That was my role. That was how I showed my love. And when I came here and saw you doing it so well, I felt useless, like I was just an old woman in the way. Tears welled up in Mama Obi's eyes. So I criticized your cooking because if I could find fault in it, then maybe I was still needed. Maybe I still had something to teach. But the truth is, you don't need my teaching. You already know how to take care of my son. Amara reached across the table and took Mama Obi's hand. Mama, she said gently, cooking isn't the only way to show love. And you are not here just to cook or to be useful. You are here because you are his mother. That alone makes you irreplaceable. Mama Obi looked up, tears streaming down her face. I'm sorry, she whispered. I'm sorry for how I treated you. You didn't deserve it. You were nothing but kind to me, and I repaid you with insults and disrespect. Amara squeezed her hand. I forgive you, Mama, but you need to understand something. I'm not your competition. I'm not trying to replace you. I just want to love your son and build a life with him. And there's room in that life for you too, not as a critic, but as family. Mama Obi nodded, wiping her eyes with the back of her hand. Can I finish this soup? She asked, almost shyly. Amara laughed, a real, genuine laugh. Yes, Mama, eat as much as you want. In fact, from now on, you don't have to sneak. If you want food, just ask. Or better yet, just serve yourself. This is your home too. Mama Obi smiled through her tears. It's really very good, the soup. Thank you, Mama. Maybe you can teach me how you make it. I would like to learn. Amara's smile widened. I would love that. And maybe you can teach me some of your village recipes too, the ones Chukudi talks about all the time. Mama Obi's face lit up. Really? You want to learn from me? Of course. You have years of experience, Mama. I'm sure there's so much I can learn from you. And just like that, the wall between them began to crumble. When Chukudi came home that evening, he found something he never expected to see. His mother and his wife in the kitchen together, cooking side by side. Mama Obi was showing Amara how to properly season nsala soup, while Amara was teaching Mama Obi a trick for making the pounded yam extra smooth. They were laughing, actually laughing. Chukudi stood in the doorway, his mouth hanging open. What is happening? Both women turned to him. Your wife is teaching me some new techniques, Mama Obi said proudly. And your mother is sharing her secret ingredient for the best pepper soup, Amara added. Chukudi looked between them, confused and relieved and happy all at once. So, we're good now? Mama Obi walked over to him and patted his cheek. My son, I owe your wife an apology, and I owe you one too. I was wrong. Your wife is a wonderful cook, and more importantly, she's a wonderful woman. You chose well. Chukwudi's eyes misted over. He pulled both women into a hug. Thank you, he whispered. Both of you. That night, they ate together as a family. The table was filled with food, half made by Amara, half made by Mama Obi, some made by both of them together. And as they ate, Mama Obi said something that made Amara's heart swell. You know, this egusi soup is even better than I remembered. You have a gift, my daughter. My daughter. Not my son's wife, not this woman. My daughter. Amara smiled. Thank you, Mama. After dinner, as they were cleaning up, Mama Obi pulled Amara aside. I learned something these past days, she said quietly. Pride is a terrible chef. It makes everything taste bitter. But humility makes even simple food taste like a feast. Amara hugged her. I'm glad you're here, Mama. Truly. I'm glad to be here too, my daughter. In the weeks that followed, the apartment transformed. Mama Obi and Amara developed a routine. Some days Amara cooked, some days Mama Obi cooked. Most days they cooked together, blending city techniques with village traditions, creating dishes that were uniquely theirs. Mama Obi stopped criticizing and started complimenting. And when she did have suggestions, she offered them gently, as advice from one cook to another, not as insults from a superior to an inferior. And Amara, she stopped walking on eggshells. She relaxed. She laughed more. She started calling Mama Obi Mama with warmth instead of obligation. Chukwudi watched it all with amazement and gratitude. His home, which had been filled with tension and silent wars, was now filled with the sounds of laughter, the smells of good food, and the warmth of family. One evening, as he watched his wife and his mother teaching each other how to make chin-chin, he thought to himself, this is what home should feel like. The lesson Mama Obi learned was simple but profound. Love isn't about being needed. It's about being present. She didn't have to be the best cook to be valuable. She didn't have to be irreplaceable to be loved. She just had to be herself, a mother-in-law, a woman with stories and wisdom and imperfections. And Amara, she learned something too. Sometimes, the people who hurt us aren't doing it out of malice. Sometimes they're doing it out of fear. Fear of being forgotten. Fear of being useless. Fear of losing their place in the world. And when you can see past the insult to the fear underneath, that's when real healing begins. Months later, when Emeka visited again, he found a completely different household. He walked in to find Mama Obi and Amara in the kitchen, arguing good-naturedly about whether to add more pepper to the stew. Just a little more, Amara. Trust me. Mama, it's already spicy enough. Nonsense. Real pepper soup should make you sweat. They both burst out laughing. Emeka turned to Chukwudi, bewildered. What happened? Last time I was here, I thought World War III was about to break out. Chukwudi smiled and put his arm around his brother's shoulder.
Let me tell you what happened. Mama stopped complaining and Amara stopped caring whether she complained. But more than that, they both learned to see each other, really see each other, not as rivals, but as family. And the food, Emeka asked. I heard Mama hated Amara's cooking. Chukudi grinned. Wait until you taste dinner tonight. It's a collaboration. Mama's recipe and Mara's technique. Best of both worlds. And it was. That night, as they all sat around the table, eating and talking and laughing, Mama Obi raised her glass of water. A toast, she announced, to my daughter-in-law, who taught this old woman that she still has much to learn, and to my son, who was patient with both of us, and to family, which is not about being perfect, but about learning to love each other's imperfections. They all clinked their glasses, and as Amara looked around the table, at her husband smiling, at her mother-in-law with warmth in her eyes, at Emeka enjoying the food, she felt something she hadn't felt in weeks. Peace. Complete, beautiful peace. Because she had learned something important too. You can't force people to respect you, but you can refuse to accept disrespect. And sometimes, just sometimes, standing firm in your worth is the greatest lesson you can teach. Mama Obi had learned to humble herself. Amara had learned to stand her ground. And together, they learned that family isn't about one person winning and another losing. It's about both people choosing to win together. 6 months later, Mama Obi started a small food business from the apartment. She and Amara sold their fusion dishes, traditional village recipes with modern city twists, at weekend markets. It became so popular that neighbors started placing advance orders. And every time someone complimented the food, Mama Obi would smile proudly and say, "This is my daughter's recipe. She's an excellent cook. I'm just here to learn from her." And Amara would laugh and reply, "And I'm still learning from Mama. She's the real expert." Neither of them was lying. They had both become students and teachers, learning that the best recipes aren't just about ingredients and technique. They're about respect, humility, and love. And that, my friends, is a lesson worth learning.